Hello friends, you're welcome back to this channel. What I have today is how to make a trending top neckline. It's a very simple one and I want to believe in this video you will really enjoy this video. All you need to do is just to take your time and watch this video to the end. Lest I forget, season greetings to you all. I really appreciate you. Thanks for always being there. So right now we are going to start. Now here is the fabric I will be using. Now, this is the right side of this fabric. Why this is the wrong side? So, I will be folding it to the wrong side. So, I'm going to fold it into two. So, what I'm going to do right now is to cut out the front piece of this top. So, I have the length of this top is 23 inches, but I'm going to add extra one, making 24 inches. So I'm going to cut out the 24 inches for the length of this top. So as you can see right here, I've cut out the length, which is 24 I told you of. So right now, if you look at the texture of this fabric, it's a slippery type. So what I need to do is just to use my pin to hold it at the edge so that I can have an equal side at the end of this exercise. Just make sure it's of equal length, both the back and the front, so that I will achieve accurate um size, so that one will not be longer than each other. So right now we are going to start. So the first thing I'm going to do is to I'm going to measure the shoulder line. So I have the shoulder lines 15 inches, and 15 inches divided by 2 gives me 7.5. Now plus half an inch for the for the for the joining. So I'm going to measure 8 inches on the shoulder line. So I have my 8 inches right here. So right now, I'm going to bring this down. So to calculate the armhole length is just what I have on the bust line. Now the bust line of this is 36 inches. And 36 inches divided by 4, I'll have 9 inches. So that 9 inches, I'm going to subtract 1.5 from it. So it gives me 7.5 inches. So plus the half an inch for the shoulder slope. So I will be having 8 inches downward. So you can see where I place my ruling tape. So I measure 8 inches. So it depends. It's between 1.5 inches or 2 at most. So that's what we are going to use to get the armhole line. That is the bust circumference divided by 4 minus 1.5 or 2 at most. So right now, I'm going to connect this line to this. So please pardon me, is like I said, the texture of this fabric is shaking type, and that was why I had to use my pin to hold it. So right now, having got the armhole line, now I'm going to work on the bust. Remember, from here to here, I have 8 inches. So I'm going to subtract 0.5 for my shoulder loop. So I place my ruling tape on this line as my bust line. So I'm going to measure. Remember, I said the bust line is 36 inches. 36 divided by 4, I have 9 inches. So here is my 9 inches, as you can see. So I'm going to add 1 for my seam allowance. So right now, I move to the waistline. So I'm going to place my rule. You can place it anywhere. I can place it here, anywhere. So I'm going to measure from here. I'm going to measure 15.5 as my waistline. So I bring it here also. I measure 15.5. So I'm going to connect this line. So I'm going to measure here also to give me a straight line on the waist, on the waistline. So I connect these lines together. So right now, as you can see here, this is my waistline. So coming to the down part, now on the waistline here, to determine the waist circumference, what I'm going to do is just to place my rule back on the bust circumference. Like you can see here, I have the total of 10. So coming to this waistline, all I need to do is just to since it's a free top, it's got just to reduce that 10 by 1. So 10 minus 1 will give me 9 inches. So I'm going to place my rule and I mark 9 inches. Since it's not a fitted top. So right now, I move to the base. Now the base, what I have here, I just transfer it to here, 10 inches. So right now, all I need to do is just to connect this line together. So that is that. Then I move downward. Now I move upward to the neckline. So to the neckline, now as you can see right here, I've connected the line using just a free hand. If you have your curve, you can use it as well. So right now, I move to the neckline. So the width of the neckline, I will be marking 3 inches. That is for the width. Now for the depth, I'm going to mark 3.5 inches. So I have my 3.5 inches here. Then I also place my ruling tape here to achieve a very straight line, 3.5 inches. Can you see? So I'm going to connect this line to this, then this line to this. Then let me just use freehand. So right now, I'm going to measure 1.2 here, or 1 inches. 1 inch. So it's between 1.2 inches or 1 inch. So let me just measure like so. So right now it's just to connect this to give me a curve on the neckline. Can you see the curve? So right now I'm going to cut it out. So I go back to the what? The armhole line. So remember I say I'm going to use 0.5 as my shoulder slope, and I have it here. So I'm going to connect this to this point here. So having done that, now I'm going to place my ruling tape here. Can you see where I place it? So I measure to this point. Here I have 7.5. Half of 7.5, I have it here. Then I'm going to make a curve. Now, you remember that this is a front panel. So I'm going to reduce this. I'm going to make it inward. So I'm going to a bit stretch my hand inward by 0.3, just a little. Then I reshape it again. So this is the original one. If I'm to place both the back and the front together, this line will have been for the back, while this is for the front. So right now, the next thing I'm going to do right now is just to cut out. So if you are the type that love a shape at the base, I need to do is just to reduce this by 1 inch upward, 1 inch upward. Then I just make a little curve to this end like this. So I make 1 inch upward. That is, if I want to curve it at the base. So 1 inch upward, then I just make a slight curve at the base like so. Okay. So it will give me the curve effect. But in this case, I don't want that. I just want it flat. So right now I'm going to leave this aside, leave this like that, and I cut it straight as it is. So I'm going to cut it out. Then I trace it. You remember I'm working on the second one here. So I trace it up like so. Then I will have to use my pin again because of the nature of this material. So the next thing is to cut out the neckline. So I'm going to open it. So this is what I have. So the next thing I'm going to do is going to the neckline properly. So as you can see right here, I've cut what I'm going to use for the neck design. So I'm going to measure what I have as the length of this. You can see I have 16 inches as the length. Now for the width, I have 14.5 inches. So I'm going to fold it into two equal parts like this. So having done this, now I can now place the body, that is the front neckline or the front piece. Here is the front piece. Now I'm going to place it like so on it. So remember, this one is going to be one piece of the design. After having cut this, then I'm going to cut another one, making it two because of the turning. So right now, you can see I've placed it on this. So what I'm going to do right now is just to measure. I'm going to measure from this point upward 7 inches. Can you see? 7 inches. So I'm going to mark. I'm going to mark it like this. So it depends on how fuller you want the pleating to be. If you want the pleating to be very, very full, it means you're going to extend the length of this. So instead of 7 inches here, you can make it 10 inches, you can make it like 11 inches. But for this particular one, I'm going to stop at 7. So right now, from that point, I'm going to measure 3 inches or less than that. So I have my 3 inches here. So from here, I'm going to be measuring. So having done this, I'm going to make a curve to meet this one first. So please pardon me, like I said initially, this fabric is a slippery type. So I just have to be very, very careful so that I'll have a perfect curve. So I'm going to continue like this. So I'm done with the curve, as you can see. So right now, I'm going to place, remember I measure from here to here is 3 inches. So I'm going to measure like that, 3 inches. I proceed, 3 inches. 3 inches. So the down part here, it depends on how longer you want it to be at the down part. So for me, I'm going to make it between 4.5 or 5 inches. So I'm going to measure from the down part, I'm going to measure 4.5 inches. So I have my 4.5 inches somewhere here. So right now, I can now connect these lines together. This line, I connect it together till I get to this point here. So I think it's better I use my pin to hold it. So I connect this line, like I was saying, downward like this to meet this. So I'll start by connecting this one at the top first. So I proceed. So right now, I'm going to cut this off. Having cut this off, then I also contract this, I cut it out. So that's what I'm going to do right now. But before then, I'm going to use my pin to hold it so that it doesn't stress me up in the process of cutting. So right now, I can now cut. So I just have to be very careful so that I will have a perfect cut. Then I move to the down part. Can you see? So right now, I'm going to open this. So I have something like this. So by the time I pleat it, this is how it's going to look like. Can you see? Place this to this. So I'm going to have something like this. So remember I said I'm going to cut another piece of exactly like this just to turn it to give me a very neat outlook at the base here. Now as you can see right here, I've cut the second piece of this and I've sewed it round the base and I've turned it. Can you see? After that, I give it a very nice press, as you can see. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to do is just to determine the center point, and which I've notched already. I folded it into two like so. Then I dictate the center point, after which I notch. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to take the front piece of this top, which is this. Now, lest I forget, I've also cut the facing for the neckline. Now, I've cut both the front and the back. All you need to do is very simple. You just fold it into two like this and you place it on the fabric and you trace the neckline and the width of the extra, you just trace it. If it is 2 inches, then you make sure that it's 2 inches all over. But for the depth, you can make it like, you can extend it to be 3 or 3 point. It depends. It actually depends on what you want. So but it's advisable that the front part should be a bit longer. But for this, I decided to make it equal length. So, and I used 3 inches. That is for the width of the facing. So you can see it's 3 inches. So it's 3 inches or 3.5 inches. So, and that is it all round. Look at it. 3.5 also. So having done that, so I'm going to place the design on it. Now this notch, the center point which I've notched, is a guide for me. So what I'm going to do right now is just to place the edge of this on this. Then I use my pin and hold this edge together first. Can you see? So after this, so I can now start by pleating. Pleat, but I will make sure that it slaps directly on the edge of the neckline, as you can see. So I use my pin and hold it together from the back. So I proceed. So I will also be mindful, this is the center point. I will be mindful of this center point here. So I proceed to the next one. Then I use my pin. I hold it together. Now, so you can see this is the center. And I use my pin. I hold it together. So, so I'm done with this part. So I proceed to the next part. So the next part right here, I'm going to fold it in like this. I fold it in like this. So I will also be mindful of this. This one, if you look at the base here, it's a bit longer. So I will make sure that it's of equal length in terms of the width. So I use my pin and hold it together. Can you see? You can see this one is not long wider than this. Must be of the same thing so that I can have a very perfect one. So I also proceed with the next one here. I also make sure that this line must be equal to this. Okay, so I proceed. I use my pin and hold it. So the last one here. So I must also be careful so that by the time I sew this, it does not affect this one at the down part. So I'm going to use my pin right now and hold it also. Can you see? So maybe I will need to do little adjustments here so that I can have the same size with this. So that is that. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is sorry, is to take my facing. Here is my facing. So this facing, I'm going to um include an interface. I'm going to make cut an interface and iron it at the back. So after that, then I turn it to the wrong side, right side to the right side. I place it like this. So I can now sew. I sew round to this point. I hope it's clear. So welcome back. Now here comes the end of this tutorial. Can you see the design, the neck design? I hope you like this. And you can see it's an office wear. So very easy. Just take the step, watch it to the end. You will discover that it's something you can make yourself. Thank you very much. If you Please don't forget to like this video and to share it out. If you're watching my video for the very first time, I welcome you to this channel. Here is a channel where you can learn a lot, of course. All you need to do is just to click on the subscribe button below and you hit on the notification bell so that you can have access to my new release video. Thank you very, very much. So, till I come your way again, keep watching my video. Bye for now.